You're listening to the Hidden Killers podcast with Tony Bruski.
2,208 years. Have you ever heard of a sentence that long before, Carol?
Isn't that amazing?
2,000.
It's justified.
208 years for the deadly 2022 Club Q shooting. You may remember this. This was a horrible nightclub shooting back in 2022. In the historic ruling, a federal judge in Colorado has sentenced Anderson Lee Aldrich to life in prison, that's putting it lightly, without parole, plus an additional 190 years for the horrific 2022 shooting at Club Q in Colorado Springs that left 5 people dead and 19 injured. Aldrich, who's 24, pled guilty to the 74 federal hate crime and firearms charges related to the attack on the LGBTQ nightclub. The U.S. Justice Department announced that Aldrich received 55 concurrent sentences to be served consecutively after admitting that his actions were partly motivated by hatred for the LGBTQ community. Despite the gravity of the crimes, prosecutors did not seek the death penalty, opting instead for a plea agreement reached later in the year. Hey, what's your plea agreement for? I only got 2,208 years.
And I think it's like he just didn't want to be put to death and would rather spend his life in prison. So that was the negotiation.
So, I mean, just put that into perspective. 2,000, that's what would put us, like, if we go back 2,208 years, that would be BC.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. It's quite a ways back. The Club Q shooting stands as one of the most violent crimes against the gay community in our nation's history. FBI Director Christopher Wray stated the victims of the attack included bartender Daniel Davis Aston, who's 28, customer Kelly Loving, 40, bartender and co-owner Derrick Rump, 38, customer Ashley Paugh, 35, and a customer Raymond Greene Vance, who was 22. Cheryl Norton, whose daughter survived the shooting after being hit 9 times, implored U.S. District Judge Charlotte Sweeney to show no leniency. Please, Your Honor, I'm pleading with you. Lock this animal away to the depths of hell, Norton urged. Already serving 5 consecutive life sentences for state murder charges, Aldrich faced further condemnation for his crimes. Colorado Judge Michael McHenry sentenced him to an additional 2,208 years for the attempted murder, bias-motivated crimes, and more. In his June 2023 plea, Aldrich admitted to deliberately causing each victim's death. Judge Sweeney, the first openly gay federal judge in Colorado, condemned Aldrich's actions. You targeted this community where it lives and breathes. This community is stronger than your armor, than your weapons, and it's sure as heck stronger than your hatred, she declared. Family members and friends of the victims shared their impact statements in the court, while some, like Cheryl Norton, expressed their enduring pain and inability to forgive. Others, such as drag queen Wyatt Kent, chose a different path. Kent, who was performing at Club Q during the attack, told Aldrich, I forgive you. We, the queer community, are the resilient ones. We continue to find joy in trauma and pain, things you will never experience for the rest of your life. Kent's partner, Aston, was among those killed in the shooting. On the night of the attack, Aldrich arrived at Club Q with an AR-15-style rifle and a ballistic vest. His rampage was halted by brave patrons, including Army veteran Ricardo Fierro, who subdued Aldrich by grabbing his gun and striking him with it. Fierro later remarked that Aldrich's evil was overcome by a diverse group of people, including LGBTQ individuals and veterans, whom he called real heroes. The sentence marks a significant moment of justice for the victims and the LGBTQ community, affirming the strength and resilience in the face of hatred and violence. It feels like this was further back than 2022. I don't know why.
I know, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. If someone asked me when it was, I would have said like 10 years ago. I don't know why it was only 2 years ago. I don't know.
And this is the one where
maybe I'm thinking of a different one.
He was there, I think, with his family, like some of his family.
Yeah.
And I think he was a veteran. And this happened, and he attacked him, and he's the one who got him to stop shooting. Like he was able to stop it.
Yeah.
It could have been much, much worse than it was.
Yeah.
Like he was very heroic, and there's other people who stepped up very heroically. You know, I can't even imagine the kind of panic and fear and chaos.
Yeah.
Horrific. I mean, you know, I'm assuming too that he had state and federal crimes. So you add all these together, it's a whole lot of years.
Yeah.
But sometimes when people like this who hate so badly. Like, how can you hate someone who's gay so intensely that you would go in and shoot up a gay nightclub, which makes me think he maybe had those tendencies himself and he was mad at himself. I don't know. It's just a guess.
Mm-hmm.
But it makes me wonder, because why else would you hate someone so strongly? Even if you disagree with the people being gay, which that's a whole nother type of podcast. We could talk about that for hours. But I 100% believe people are born that way.
Sure.
And it's just who they are.
Yeah.
And live your life and be who you are. And I'm all for that. And I have tons of gay friends.
I think, it must be, obviously this person has a lot of self-hate going on. So
that's what it feels like to me, to go in there and you're willing to, because you're not going to walk out of there and go back to your job at Walmart or wherever he had a job. I have no idea. I just include a Walmart in this story and I shouldn't have. But you know what I'm saying? He just goes back to his regular job. That's not going to happen.
No.
You will get stopped. You will get caught for something like this. There's too many people in the club.
Yeah.
And you will eventually run out of bullets. So you're going to give up your own life for what?
And that's the thing. I think that some of these monsters, they think of themselves as martyrs almost, and they think they're doing something. And it's obviously a very sick individual that would ever do anything like this. So
because going in and killing people in the club isn't going to close down every gay club in the country. Yeah. It's going to get people to rally and stand up for their rights. It's actually going to cause the opposite of what you want it to be.
Well, they're not the brightest. That's the thing. You're exactly right. It ends up being a rallying thing and more of awareness thing at the end of the day, doing exactly the opposite of what he wanted. So
I have a question for you, though. If you were in a situation like one of your loved ones was killed in a situation like that, do you think you could get up there in front of the court and say, I forgive you? I think I'd be more like the mom.
I would have a very hard time doing that. I would probably be more inclined to somehow sneak a weapon in and try to take the person out.
Even if I did actually forgive them, I don't think I would ever tell that person. No. I don't think I would let them know. That's me. That's my forgiveness. I don't have to tell you.
No, it's a personal thing. I don't think that needs to be, necessarily given verbally to the person who did something horrible.
But the drag queen did. Yeah. She got up there and said, I forgive you.
Bigger person than I could be in that situation.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Just horrible. But, at the end of the day, did the opposite of what this, evil asshole wanted.
Want to listen ad-free? Want advance access to all of our interviews before anyone else?
Become a True Crime Today Premium Plus subscriber on Apple Podcasts.
You get every episode commercial-free.
So you can binge on true crime
until you can binge no more.
Search True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts now, or go to our podcast page and sign up now.
More of the Hidden Killers podcast next.